Welcome to Singapore Property Talk Law, your shortcut to understanding the Lion City's dynamic real estate scene.
Great to be diving in again.
Absolutely. Hey, if you're finding these deep dives useful, please do hit that like button and subscribe. It really helps us out and means you won't miss our latest discussions.
Definitely.
So today, we're jumping straight into a pretty fascinating case that's been in the news. It's about the alleged misuse of a good class bungalow, a GCB, right here in Singapore.
Right, and these aren't just, big houses. GCBs are a whole different category, specific planning rules, very limited numbers, highly prized.
Exactly. And what's really caught everyone's attention with this particular GCB on Victoria Park Road isn't just that it was rented out.
No, it's the alleged deception involved. Police investigations are suggesting a deliberate plan, a conspiracy, really, to mislead the landlord about how this, very exclusive property was actually going to be used.
Okay, let's unpack that alleged deception then. What are the specifics?
Well, it seems back in March 2024, a Singaporean man named Wu Pengfei signed the tenancy agreement for this landed property, a detached house with its own grounds.
Right.
But the police believe this wasn't just him renting a place to live. It was apparently part of a bigger scheme to cheat the landlord.
How so?
The story giving was, standard residential use, but the real plan, it seems, was to operate an illegal private recreational club.
Private club. Wow. And was he acting alone?
No, not at all. It looks like a group effort.
Well,
3 others are implicated: Ko Huiming, Su Zhentan, and Su Wenhui. And there's another name, Wu Gojing, who hasn't been charged and is apparently at large.
I see.
So the core of the alleged cheating was basically misrepresenting who the main tenant really was and, crucially, the actual purpose of renting the place.
Okay, so what was actually happening inside this GCB, this supposed clubhouse? Must have been more than just a few friends playing cards.
Well, yeah, reports indicate it was functioning as a private clubhouse, mostly for Wu Gojing's circle friends, business associates, that kind of thing. And the activities apparently included gambling. The place had facilities like a swimming pool, a pool table, set up for entertainment.
And who was paying for all this?
Yeah.
$58,000 a month rent, you mentioned. That's steep.
Extremely steep. And apparently it was Wu Gujing, the one who's at large, who bankrolled the whole thing, including that $58,000 monthly rent.
Where did his money come from?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's been described simply as unexplained wealth.
Right, which, especially in Singapore with its tight financial controls, definitely raises some red flags.
Did red flags.
Unexplained wealth funding a secret GCB clubhouse. Wow. Okay, let's talk about the roles of the others involved. Who did what?
Okay, starting with Su Wenhui. He's a Cambodian national. Allegedly, he was the clubhouse manager, running the day-to-day operations.
Oh.
He's also facing a separate charge, interestingly, for trying to take over $22,000 in undeclared cash out of Singapore back in August 2023. And on top of that, he was allegedly working at the clubhouse without a valid Singapore work pass.
Right, okay. And what about Su Zhentan?
Su Zhentan, a Chinese national. He was supposedly the chef, but also handled the money, the finances, at the clubhouse. Reports say he was earning about 18,000 yuan a month. And like Su Wenhui, he's also accused of working without a valid work pass. What's interesting is it's reported he kind of suspected the money might be from, let's say, less than legitimate sources.
But didn't ask questions.
Apparently not. Chose not to probe.
Okay. Then there's Wu Pengfei, the Singaporean who actually signed the lease. What was his role?
His main role seems to have been providing a local name for the lease. He was allegedly one of the drivers for the operation too, earning $5,500 a month. He's accused of putting his name forward, claiming he and his family would live there, even though that $58,000 rent was clearly way beyond his means.
So acting as a front, essentially.
That's what's alleged, yes. It does make you wonder about his motivations for getting involved.
Indeed. And the last one mentioned, Ko Huiming, the property agent. What was her alleged part in this?
Ko Huiming, she's Malaysian, but a Singapore PR. Her role was allegedly quite critical. She's accused of facilitating the actual rental agreement.
How?
By allegedly lying about Wu Pengfei's background to another property agent involved in the deal, basically smoothing the way.
I see. And did she profit from this?
Oh, yes. Reports say she earned a $26,000 commission for her part, money she apparently then used as a deposit for a condo.
Wow.
So she's also facing a charge related to that, dealing with the benefits of criminal conduct, essentially handling money believed to be proceeds from illegal activities.
Okay, quite a web they allegedly spun. So how did it all unravel? How did the authorities find out?
Well, the police conducted a raid. It happened at the Victoria Park Road property on May 18th, 2024. That led to the arrest of 9 people on site.
Right. And the legal consequences so far.
Things moved relatively quickly for some. Wu Pengfei, the guy who signed the lease, and Su Zhentan, the chef treasurer, they've each been sentenced to 2 months in jail for the cheating offenses. Su Enwei, the manager, got a bit longer, 4 months jail. That covered both the cheating and the attempt to move that undeclared cash out of Singapore. And the fact he was working illegally was also considered during sentencing.
And the property agent, Ko Hu Ming.
Her case is still pending, so we'll have to wait and see how that develops.
It's quite something. And, it feels like this isn't a totally isolated incident. We've heard about similar things happening with high-end properties before, haven't we?
Yes, absolutely. It does raise questions. This isn't the first time a high-value property, specifically a GCB, has been linked to potentially illicit activities. There was a similar case reported in Bukit Timah back in March 2025, another GCB raided for illegal gambling, leading to 12 arrests.
Right, I remember hearing about that.
And even before this Victoria Park Road setup, there was apparently an earlier instance involving the same group. They supposedly rented a GCB over on Garlick Avenue. Yeah, for an even more staggering sum, $125,000 a month. For similar clubhouse purposes,
Right.
They only moved to Victoria Park Road later, presumably because the $58,000 rent was, well, cheaper.
Cheaper. Still an incredible amount.
Yeah.
This pattern, it does suggest maybe there's a vulnerability. Or perhaps the privacy that comes with these high-end rentals makes them attractive targets.
It certainly raises those questions. Are the current screening processes adequate? What are the responsibilities of property agents in these situations? And how effectively can the use of private residences be monitored? It seems the very exclusivity and perceived lack of scrutiny might be creating opportunities.
So for you listening, what are the big takeaways here? This whole Victoria Park Road situation, I think, really underscores the importance of, well, transparency and sticking to the rules in Singapore's property rental market.
Absolutely. And it also shows the authorities are vigilant. They are looking into the misuse of properties, even behind the closed doors of these very exclusive good-class bungalows.
It really does leave us with something to think about, doesn't it?
Yeah.
As you navigate the Singapore property scene, whether you're a landlord, tenant, or just an observer.
Yeah, the question is, how can we ensure better clarity moving forward? How can both sides, landlords and tenants, proactively prevent these kinds of situations? It's definitely food for thought in this evolving market.